Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're having a wonderful week like always. I am continuing with my Grace Jones discography journey, and we have made it to her 1981 album, her fifth studio album from 1981 called Nightclubbing. Now let me tell you, I have been eagerly anticipating this album for the longest time. Ever since I started my Grace Jones discography journey, I have been eagerly anticipating her Warm Leatherette album and her Night Clubbing album. I did listen to her Warm Leatherette album in my prior Grace Jones video, and let me tell you, I am addicted to that album. I love it so much. I've been listening to it all the time. And I'm just so giddy right now to be listening to this album. You guys have been hyping up Warm Leatherette. You guys have been hyping up Nightclubbing. And it says here that Nightclubbing is widely considered Grace Jones's best studio album. And it's also the record that cemented her pop icon status. I mean, look at that album artwork. The album artwork is honestly one of the best album artworks I've ever seen in my entire life. Now, this album has been a huge influence on musicians and artists in general in the coming decades after 1981. So, through the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, artists are still being influenced by Grace Jones and her music, in particular her Nightclubbing album. Critics and scholars have noted the album's influence on popular music, especially how its unique sound has been emulated by both pop and alternative acts. And Jones's persona that was deeply influenced by art and fashion has had an enduring influence in modern female pop singers. Now, one artist that comes to mind is Lady Gaga. You can tell just through her fashion and her music and her persona that she was influenced by Grace Jones and her look and her music. Now, I am looking at the track list of the album, and there are 9 tracks on the album. I haven't heard any of these songs before. At least I don't think so. But if I start listening to a song and it sounds familiar, I'll let you guys know. So you know what? Enough talking. Let's get into track number 1, Walking in the Rain. Ooh. I like that.
Walking down the street, kicking cans, summing up the people, checking out the race. Walking in the rain, feeling like a woman, looking like a man. Right is night is tight. Walking in the rain, button up your lips. Walking in the rain.
Oh, I love that part so much. Alrighty, that was track number 1, Walking in the Rain, and I'm kind of obsessed with this song now. Wow, you know what? I love this song. I loved everything about the lyrics, production. I loved all the instruments. I loved her voice. That chorus. I just love the chorus of this song so much, and I just like how this song made me feel. Walking down the street, kicking cans, looking at the billboard, old soul rads, summing up the people, checking out the race, doing what I'm doing, feeling out of place. Walking in the rain, feeling like a woman, looking like a man, sound like a no-no, mating when I can. I mean, just like her Warm Leatherette album, I am obsessed with the lyrics that I'm reading. They are so sassy and they are just filled with confidence, and I just like how she articulates herself when she's singing these songs and she's saying the lyrics. It's almost hypnotic, and I feel sassy when I listen to these songs, honestly. And one song that does come to mind is Private Life from her Warm Leatherette album. Honestly, one of my favorite tracks from Warm Leatherette, and I don't know, I just like how this song makes me feel. It's just, I have no words. I just love it so much. I mean, this song is definitely unlocking my inner sassy bitch. I just have the urge to start strutting down the street, dressed as I am, not giving a shit, filled with confidence, getting soaking wet in the rain, not wearing a jacket or a raincoat, and not giving a fuck. Now, it does say here that the song was originally recorded in 1978 by the Australian band Flash and the Pad. So now we're gonna move on to track number 2, Pull Up to the Bumper. God. Oh my god. I am in love. The production, I can't get over the production on this album so far. I mean, in particular, this track, I mean, once again, this album is bringing out my inner sassy bitch, and I just feel, I don't know what I feel. I just feel like I want to say fuck you, you know, like fuck you, move out of my way. I'm gonna dance and move and groove, you know. I'm just gonna do my own thing. Driving down those city streets, I'm waiting to get down. You want to ditch your big machine somewhere in this town. Now in the parking lot garage, I found the proper place. Just follow all the written rules. You'll fit into the space. Pull up to my bumper, baby, in your long black limousine. Pull up to my bumper, baby, and drive it in between. Yes! Now, I will admit, as I was listening to the song, I wasn't really picking up on the sexual innuendo. I wasn't really focusing on the lyrics because I was so entranced by the production and her voice. But now, as I dig into the lyrics, I do obviously feel like there is some sexual innuendo happening. Now, the song did spark some controversy, of course it did, for its suggestive lyrics involving sexual intercourse and fellatio, prompted some radio stations in the United States to refuse to broadcast it. Pull up to my bumper, baby, in your long black limousine. Pull up to my bumper, baby, drive it in between, grease it, spray it, let me lubricate it. Oh my god. Oh, I just fucked up my sunglasses. Oh well. Wow, what? Anal sex? I'm just reading anal sex here. Wow. Jones revealed that the meaning of the lyrics were not necessarily meant to be interpreted as a metaphor for anal sex. Oh, it's about anal sex. Oh well, oh my. Ha! Well, you don't say. The beat and production on this track was absolutely infectious. I can't get enough. I might be overreacted, but I really don't care because we're only 2 tracks in and I'm absolutely obsessed with this album. Now, Pull Up to the Bumper has become one of Jones's signature songs, and it does look like that it's the original Grace Jones song. She does do a lot of covers on her albums, but this does appear to be an original Grace Jones song. I just want to stop recording this video and I just want to keep listening to the first 2 tracks on this album. I didn't think that I would love this album as much as I am right now. I mean, I knew I would like it, of course, because I've generally liked all of Grace Jones's albums up until now, but I just didn't think I would love it as much as I am right now, and so now we're gonna move on to track number 3, Use Me. Alrighty, that was track number 3, Use Me, and this was another hot song that I really enjoyed. I didn't like it as much as the first 2 tracks, but I would definitely listen to this song again. My friends feel that it's their appointed duty, and he keeps trying to tell me, all you want to do is use me. But my answer to all that use me stuff, oh baby, now I want to spread the news that if it feels this good getting used, keep on using me till you've used me up. And then she goes on to say, Mother sat down, and you know she told me if he can overcome you, all he's gonna do is use you. Sometimes it's true, you really do abuse me. I lost the only people who really ever didn't use me. But oh baby, when you love me, I can't get enough. Now, when I do read the lyrics, it does come across as obviously a dark song, depending on who you are and who reads the lyrics. It is about being obviously used and abused in a relationship. It's about being dominated as well, being helpless, and coming to the point where you're so used to the abuse and being used that it feels good. The pain feels good. Being dominated feels good. I mean, there are people who do romanticize these sorts of things. They do romanticize being dominated. Even perhaps being abused. I mean, there are people out there who do have these fantasies. Now, the song was originally recorded by Bill Withers in 1972. And when talking about the song, he said that the song is about a guy whose girlfriend walks all over him. His friends try to convince him to break up with her, but he enjoys the abuse and won't consider leaving. I mean, obviously, there will be different people who will interpret this song differently. People do get off from being dominated and abused, in particular men in a relationship. So maybe they like how the woman, their girlfriend, is dominating them. They are submissive, and the girlfriend has the power to really be sexually liberated and really use and abuse the guy. So I don't know, like, it just depends on who the person is reading the lyrics. So now we're gonna move on to track number 4, Nightclubbing.
We see people, brand new people. We walk like a ghost. Night lovely, bright, lovely.
Okay, that was track number 4, Nightclubbing, and I have no words, honestly. I mean, what could I possibly say that I haven't said already? I like the production. I like her vocals. Her vocals are very just like her prior album, Warm Leatherette. Her vocals are very monotone, and they're almost vacant. But they're very hypnotic, and it's almost like you're in a trance. And just the overall production of this album, I adore. And I mean, I'm running out of good things to say. I love this album so much. She almost sounds like a robot on some of these tracks. Almost like she's not even human. Nightclubbing, where an ice machine. We see people, brand new people. There's something to see. We're nightclubbing, bright white clubbing. Oh, isn't it wild? Now, it does say here that the song was originally written by David Bowie and Iggy Pop, and was first released by Iggy Pop on his debut solo album called The Idiot in 1977. There's also something very underground about this album. I feel like I'm at this exclusive underground event or party Just the sound of the album, it's just taking me. I feel like I'm in a secret location that not many people know about, and I just feel like I have the urge to just dance the night away. Now, I've never listened to an Iggy Pop album. I've never listened to a David Bowie album. I will be going on my David Bowie discography journey hopefully sometime this year, which I'm very much excited about. So now we're gonna move on to track number 5, Art Groupie.
I'll never write a memoir. There's nothing in my, but that's the way you see me. That's my art. Touch me in a stranger, whispering myself. Whispering myself. The only way you see me and I
Okay, that was track number 5, Art Groupie, and this was another song I really enjoyed. Unfortunately, the song isn't on Apple Music, so I had to listen to it on YouTube, which is unfortunate because I actually really like this song, so I would like to listen to it again on Apple Music, but unfortunately I can't. Now, obviously, this is another song where I really liked the production. I really like the synths on this album. Also, the guitar and the beats. There are multiple different sounds on this album. Sounds I haven't really heard from a Grace Jones album yet. And just seeing how far she's come from her first album portfolio, it's almost night and day. I love this album. I've said that so many times already, but I'm only halfway through the album, and this is definitely, I mean, this is her best album so far. And I find it's really interesting how the opening lyric of the song is, I'll never write my memoirs, because she actually did write her memoirs. In 2015, she wrote her own book, her own autobiography, called I'll Never Write My Memoirs by Grace Jones. So never say never. It's definitely a book I want to read. I would think that her life is quite interesting, her personality is quite interesting, so reading an autobiography by Grace Jones, learning about her life and her career, I think would be really interesting. I'll never write my memoirs. There's nothing in my book. The only way to see me, an art groupie. And then she goes on to say, some people like to be used, which I guess is a throwback to the prior song I listened to, Use Me. Some people like to be used. I've been used and amused, but that's the way I see me, my art groupie look. So now we're gonna move on to track number 6, I've Seen That Face Before.
strange. I've seen that face before. Feeling overprayed, like a night. Tu cherches quoi? Raconte-moi la mort. Une page elle reste blanche. Kill me till the bone. Envoie bien sur tes fringues, sur les murs de couteau.
Okay, that was track number 6. I've seen that face before, and this was a spooky, eerie song. For me, I feel like the highlight was the production. Obviously, I like the instruments. I felt like I was in France. She does sing French in parts of the song. But it's also, I mean, I find this song bizarre. I mean, let's be real, this whole album is bizarre, but This one I feel like is the spookiest song on the album. She is singing about this stranger. It seems like she's being stalked by this person. Strange, I've seen that face before. Seen him hanging round my door, like a hawk stealing for the prey, like the night waiting for the day. Strange, he shadows me back home. Footsteps echo on the stones. Strange, he's standing there alone. Staring eyes chill me to the bone. This is spooky. I mean, I feel like we've all been there. I mean, most of us, where you're maybe at a bar, you're at a club, you're at a restaurant, you're anywhere. You could be at the library or the grocery store, and someone's just staring at you. They're just kind of. You can obviously tell that they're interested in you, and there's something very chilling about it, and they kind of follow you. I mean, I've been in a situation like that. Or maybe even when you're walking home, it's late at night, and you hear someone following you. It might just be that you're both walking the same way. You're just headed in the same direction, or perhaps the person behind you is actually following you, which, I don't know, to me, this song was very spooky. Now, it does say here that the song is by Grace Jones, so I do believe this is an original Grace Jones song. It sold 146,000 copies in France. Now, it does say here that the song is a reworking of Astor Piazzolla's Libertango, which I've never heard of before. It says here that Libertango is an Argentine tango classic. Lyrically, the song describes the darker side of Parisian nightlife. I will say though, the song isn't one of my favorites on the album. I would listen to it again, but I wouldn't go back to it all the time. So now we're gonna move on to track number 7, Feel Up. Oh. Oh my. Okay, that was track number 7, Feel Up, and I loved all the instruments on this track. It was very instrumental, and it was very reggae, it was very Jamaican sounding, and it was very interesting, just like the rest of the album. I liked it. I really did enjoy the song. Now, I actually don't really know the story of the song. It does appear to be like she's walking her dog somewhere. Him won't bite him. Him might lick him. She's nice though. And then the guy is mentioning how she's just 16. Yeah. Feel up, feel up, feel up. So I don't know, is she referencing feeling up someone? I don't know. Now I could be wrong, but my impression of the song is that there is this girl, she's walking down the street, downtown perhaps. It looks like she's walking her dog, and this guy approaches her, and he's kind of flirty with her, and perhaps he's trying to pick her up. Then the girl mentions that she's 16, so I don't know. Now, obviously, one of my favorite parts of the song is during the chorus where it goes, "Yup." It's that gradual increase of the two words where it starts out soft and then it gets louder. It's just like, yup. And what's interesting is that she is singing about walking her dog in the song, and you do hear the sounds of dogs barking in the production of the song. So now we're gonna move on to track number 8, Demolition Man. Oh my. Okay, that was track number 8, Demolition Man, and this was a lot of fun to listen to. I had a good time listening to it. I really like the lyrics. It's like a suspense movie. It was quite suspenseful. She said, tied to the tracks and the train's fast coming, strapped to the wing with the engine running. You say that this wasn't in your plan and don't mess around with a demolition man. And then she goes on to say, tied to a chair and the bomb is ticking. The situation was not of your picking. I'm a walking nightmare, an arsenal of doom. I kill conversation as I walk into the room. Now, it does say here that the song was written by Sting of The Police. Now, it does say here that the lyric, I'm a three-line whip, often is associated with sadomasochism and is in fact an allusion to the voting instructions issued to British members of parliament to cast their votes according to the party line. Sting himself explained in an interview that whatever party's in power in parliament, if it's a really important vote, you get a one-line whip. If it's incredibly important, you have a two-line whip. And something monumentally important is a three-line whip. I really did enjoy the song. I'm just really surprised that it was the lead single from the album Nightclubbing. So we have come to the end of the album, track number 9, I've Done It Again.
I was on the first ship to Peru, overseeing wetbacks, cold good California wine, and I've done it again, done it again, done it again. First to feel the cold Alaskan white land. Done it again, done it again, done it again. Now I feel, yes I feel
Okay, that was the final track of the album, track number 9, I've Done It Again, and this was so beautiful. It's much different from the rest of the album. I wasn't expecting this sort of song on this album. It's quite jazz sounding as well. It's much slower, and I like the mood it set. And her voice sounds absolutely gorgeous on this track. I feel like perhaps she sounds the best on this track. You can hear the emotion, and I don't know, like she also sounds a little sad on this track as well. She's singing, I was on the first ship to Peru, charted all the courses like all sailors do. She also says, I was there when Jenny Lind first sang, first to feel the cold Alaska white man, first to take a trip on LSD, first to vote for Roosevelt back in 33, and I've done it again, done it again, done it again. So I don't really know what she's singing about in the song. I tried looking up the meaning of the song. I'm not having any luck. But one person did say that the song could be about reincarnation. I really don't know, so if you guys know the meaning behind the song, just leave a comment. I think this is gorgeous. I would definitely 100% listen to this song again. It's almost like by the time you come to the end of this album, this track here, I've Done It Again, it's almost like the come down from a high. The whole album up until now was a high, and now this is kind of the come down. And it's really sad because you go on this journey listening to the album, it's full of energy, and it's just such a great album, and then you finally come to the end, you come to this song, and it's the end of it. Everyone goes home, and the night is done, and that's a wrap on the evening, and it's very bittersweet. It's a very bittersweet feeling. It's like saying goodbye to a friend. It's like you had this amazing evening with someone, and then it's getting late, and the sun is rising, and it's time to go home. The night is done, and that's it. So that was all 9 tracks of Nightclubbing by Grace Jones. And I don't need to tell you how much I loved this album. Oh my god. I loved everything about it. I mean, honestly, I've listened to a handful of 80s albums on my channel over the last couple years, and this is hands down one of my favorite 80s albums ever. I love, obviously, the production is top notch. It's wonderful to listen to. I love all the sounds, the instruments. It's quite different from the rest of her music. You can definitely see the growth in her music from album to album up until now, Nightclubbing. Her voice was very bizarre and strange, eerie, very robotic and vacant. Um, and there was something very appealing about it. I also like how this album made me feel. I felt like a sassy bitch at times, like I said at the beginning of the video, and I just this album just reeks of confidence. It makes you feel confident, and it really did put a smile on my face. It's also quite the sexual album. There are a lot of sexual innuendos, and she does talk about sex quite a bit on the album. She also talks about abuse and uncomfortable topics like being in a relationship and being abused, being overpowered, being dominated. So I won't lie, there were uncomfortable moments during the listening of this album, but at the same time, there was something that just drew me to it, like a moth to the flame. I couldn't help but be drawn to this album. It's a bizarre album, it's a strange album, but I'm here for it. I love it, and I honestly loved every second of it. I liked all the tracks. Obviously, there are tracks that I like more than others. There are a couple of tracks that I was a little indifferent to. But still, those are tracks I would listen to again, just not as often as a lot of the other songs. Now, as to whether I prefer Warm Leatherette or Nightclubbing, I don't know. I'm definitely gonna have to listen to this album a few more times. Eventually, when I do my Grace Jones album ranking video, you'll know for sure which one I prefer. I just can't get over how many amazing sounds there were on this album, all the different instruments, and just the general sound of the album was very unique, and it's something that I will always go back to. Nightclubbing is an album that I will always go back to throughout the rest of my life. This album just makes you want to go out and have fun. It's perfect for pre-gaming before you go out for the evening. It's perfect for driving in your car in the evening, on a Friday night, Saturday night, by yourself, or maybe with some friends or someone you're dating. This is just a great album to listen to in general, in my opinion. You know what? Honestly, I could just keep gushing about this album, but at this point, it's just repetitive because I've said everything I wanted to. So, what did you guys think of this album? Maybe you're watching this video and you were alive when this album came out. What was that like? What was it like listening to it for the first time? Maybe you listened to it for the first time recently, like myself, or maybe you listened to it for the first time back in the 80s. What was that like? So in my next Grace Jones video, we'll be moving on to her sixth studio album from 1982 called Living My Life. So until then, thanks for watching, guys. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, you can message me, you can tell me other artists I should check out. I'm open to any artist from any decade. You can find me on Apple Music, you can just check out my playlist, and so on and so forth. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care.